We're divorce attorneys, and we just watched episode 4 of All's Fair. All right, Dolores, let's dive into this episode.
I thought this episode was a little slow, but I didn't think it was cringy at all. I don't know. Right off the bat, I did want to talk about the lunches.
Oh my gosh, their extravagant lunch is something that never happened. Well, not for us or any other attorney.
I don't know anybody who works that has lunch like that, period. If you're actually working, you are not sitting down with the full-on just spread. Who has lunch like that? I mean, I know you don't, because what did you have for lunch yesterday?
Yesterday, I had coffee and Cheez-Its.
Well, that's not good either. Like, I don't want you living off of Cheez-Its and coffee.
What I just want to talk about is the fact that Kim Kardashian brought this up, well, her character, Allura, that it's important that you dress a certain way. Then, girl, why are you wearing pants with your butt hanging out in a thong with clients there and opposing counsel?
Yeah, it's
know your audience.
Know your audience. And it's like, who was her audience on that scene?
Exactly.
Like, who are you trying to impress from behind like that? But even in this episode, when they were going dress shopping, she had that white suit, which was cute. You see, like okay, it's like, looks good.
The two-piece.
But then the slit was like really high. And then she had the...
Oh my gosh, the red fishnet stockings.
Too much.
She lost me there.
Too much,
no,
yeah.
The suit was cute. The slit was questionable, but the red stockings, girl, no.
I remember this when we were watching it, how you dressed for a client. You had that client who was into BDSM.
Yes.
And, like, it was like a whole thing with the divorce. It was like a whole thing. But, yeah, at first he was kind of difficult to work with, and he kind of wouldn't listen. And you said, I need to change up my strategy. And so you started changing up the way you dress.
I do remember.
He completely changed. He was a whole nother person. He was like...
And it was, the thing is...
Tell us about that.
I know. The funny thing, it was something so simple. I just wore chokers. That's it. Just wore chokers.
Leather chokers.
Yeah, luckily during that time, chokers were in. Not right now. It was about 10 years ago. Chokers were in.
You'd still wear it now, though, if you were a client.
Yeah, I would. It was cute. And I wore different ones. I wore like the leather thin ones. I wore, remember, a velvet thicker one. I wore lace ones. And hey, it did the job.
Oh yeah, he listened. He ate that up. He listened to everything you had to say. So yes, absolutely dress for your audience. So I feel like this episode, it got kind of dark, I think, but
it took a dark turn with Niecy Nash's character, where she goes to this party, a house party. It's Hollywood Hills, so a house party, of course, it's something extravagant.
Yeah.
And she's wearing this beautiful dress and the necklace that Allura, Kim Kardashian's character, gives her. It's beautiful. And then that's where it takes a dark turn, where you're unsure whether she was SA'd. She ended up at her home and then went to the hospital. But what I loved about this part is that she quickly called Kim Kardashian, and then the next thing, they're at the hospital, and all of them are there. Glenn Close, Naomi Watts. They were all there to support her.
And that actually hit home, because I thought of, here at the firm, like, we've all gone through different personal difficult moments in life, and how we all just stick with one another, and how I know I could just pick up the phone and call you and you will be there in a heartbeat. And I know a lot of our team members here will.
Where she used to be, I think, in law enforcement, and she was talking to her ex-partner, I think he's a detective, and she was asking about his case, and she was so disappointed because she's a very smart person in that character, and she was saying, this is him. I know this is what happened. Go arrest him. Why aren't you doing anything?
Yep. And the detective said there's not enough evidence, or the evidence is inconclusive. And as attorneys, people come to you and they'll tell you, but this is what happened, or this is what he said, or this is whatever the situation. It's like, well, yes, and that's great. I believe you, but I need hard evidence. And Niecy Nash, she knows that. Her character, she's an attorney. She knows that when it comes down to it, it's like, you need evidence. But when things happen to you as an attorney, like you said, that's why you never represent yourself. You blur those lines and you just become another human, going through something. So regarding her whole situation, her case, how they all came together and started investigating. Like, who is this man? What are they doing? And they started going digging deep and going into files and into deeds and just everything to find out who this person was. And it does remind us of what we do for a living.
Yes.
We start digging people, like their background, their social media. I mean,
Oh, we have our team, yes.
Oh,
And a
yeah.
lot of clients don't see that, what happens behind the scenes, because we have everyone looking at everything. We all have our roles. Someone looking at Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. We have third parties looking into deeds, family members, phone numbers. And so even trying to track down, people trying when we try to serve them, and my favorite is you'll never find them. Oh, and we find them so quick and we get them served. It's because we have our team. But yes, when I saw that scene, it reminded me of us, of our teamwork here at Contreras Law Firm.
I know, and we find the
Yeah.
juiciest stuff where sometimes the things that we find, you're like, did you know that? And our clients are like, really? They actually were here? They were actually seeing this person? It's like, yeah. It's like we get all the juicy details.
Even when we're in court, there are times. I remember recently I had this case about last month, and it was opposing counsel is really difficult, and he just didn't show up. And he sent someone on his behalf. And I remember telling the judge, and I was so mad. I was like, no, opposing counsel is supposed to be here. And then the person he sent on his behalf said, oh, he had trial. Oh, quickly, our team in the background already were messaging me on my phone saying, oh, he's not even on the court calendar. So I told the judge, I said, well, actually, Your Honor, that attorney's not even the court calendar. And the judge quickly told her clerk, get him on the phone immediately. And then so the show that they finally get into a case. They go into of course, a divorce case where this lady is, unfortunately, her and her husband, they discussed whether they want to have children. And then she ended up changing her mind during the marriage and said, I no longer want to have a child. And that really upset him. And it made me think about that does happen. We've had, I don't know if you remember where we've had that, like we've had some cases about that.
Yes, we have. And that becomes a huge issue in a marriage. And a lot of times that's what ends the marriage, where there's an agreement to have kids or to not have kids. Somebody wants to have kids and they don't. And it becomes a contention. But in this particular case in the show, they presented it as fraud and tried to, again, blackmail, right?
What they all do. All the attorneys in that show tend to resort to blackmail to get what they want.
He's entitled to more than half. I'm like, under what law? Where? And he said, well, she defrauded him, and he wanted to have children and so forth. And you're not, one, that's not fraud. She doesn't want to have kids.
She can change her mind.
She can change her mind.
When she went to talk to Kim Kardashian about her case, and she said, oh, opposing counsel is a shark. And not only was Kim Kardashian's reaction very monotone.
Well, Kim Kardashian is very monotone in the entire show. It's like she's just kind of frozen. Like everything's just, oh, yes, no.
And don't get me wrong. I'm like, okay, I get
No,
it.
she
You
looks
get
great.
work done, and it's great. But you can't use that as an excuse, because there are amazing actresses out there like Nicole Kidman who can give me all types of emotions and different characters.
And she has all that Botox. She's frozen, but she's able to give that emotion and put that through. And Kim it's just
blink. Like my girl, you're an attorney.
She's trying.
She is.
But they also brought up, again with that case on the show, the whole emotional distress. So because she caused him emotional distress, he's entitled to more.
Emotional distress does not exist in family law. And the reason I say that is you don't get compensated for that. This isn't civil. Just because your spouse may be a horrible person or does horrible things, you're not going to get extra money. You're not going to get more than 50%.
I just thought about it, but back to the fashion we were talking about. I love how Kim constantly, like on this episode, she's always wearing ties.
Yes, she really brought the whole androgynous, the suits. I actually really did like that.
I did like that.
And it was tasteful. There was nothing crazy showing.
I know. I said, okay. I was like, I like this tie look. I was like, maybe I want a tie for the next one.
Right. I do have to mention, though, the hats. You see Nash's hats. Like, she looks cute. I love her style, and she's just a lot, and that's her character. But realistically, as an attorney, how can you just walk around in a huge hat.
Like a box hat all day long.
Right.
I mean, she's having lunch, well, these elaborate lunches with a giant purple hat.
I get headaches if I'm wearing my hair in a bun all day or even a headband. I can imagine a huge hat. Or she does a little hat, and even Kim Kardashian had the little newspaper boy hat. It was
Oh,
cute.
yeah, that was
Actually, it was
cute.
cute. I just realistically, I don't think I can just come to the office wearing that. Maybe I'll try it one day and see.
Well, you would, even if you did, you would take it off. You're not just sitting at your desk like typing with this big old hat.
Oh, that's weird.
That would be kind of weird. But there were a few quotes at the end that Kim did bring up that I kind of liked. One of them was, I wrote it down, sometimes winning is just as bad as losing.
Yes, especially with family
I
law.
was like, yes, I like that. I actually like that because I feel like I always tell clients that people are like, I want to go to court. I want to go to trial. I just want to, have my day in court for the judge to hear this. And people often think that when they get to that point, they're going to have this sense of victory when they win. But more often than not, and you know that, even when we do win, people don't walk out of there feeling like, yes, I won. They feel so drained. They feel like I've spent so much money. This has taken an emotional, toll on me. And why does it not feel as good as I thought it was going to feel? So even when you win, sometimes you lose so much more time, money, stress, etc. So I think she really kind of nailed it with that one.
I agree. And I did feel for the client in that scene where she did get what she wanted. Her husband backed down and she got a really good settlement.
Mm-hmm.
But she still didn't feel like she won, and that's why Kim said that. And yes, that happens a lot with our clients, where we tell them family law isn't winning and losing, and because at the end of the day, what's at stake? Your children. Okay, so you won because you have more custody. How's that winning? It isn't. And like you said, it's the emotional toll, the money. So at the end of the day, even if we have these multi-day trials, a client is never comes out, yes, you got them. I won everything. They're drained, and you see it in their face, and they're very thankful with what we do for them. But you can still see it in their face where they're drained. So I agree. I really like that quote because that does show you that is family law.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when it comes to divorces, winning isn't getting your day in court. Winning is it's finding peace. It's finding peace within yourself, finding peace with your situation, and moving on.
So with this episode, it wasn't bad. Just there wasn't really, like I said, many cases. I think it focused more on the character, mostly Niecy Nash's character.
Yeah,
So.
but I think it was better than the last ones.
So we'll see what episode 5 has for us.
Right? So stay tuned. We'll continue watching so that you don't have to.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to our video.